Okay, finally, damn. Okay, I had like some issues going on. All right, so I finally got the chat. All right, all right. So let me give y'all a few more minutes. Ain't like y'all ain't been waiting 20 minutes already. So I think we all good now. I believe we all good. If you come through here and you hear me, make sure you type one so that I know. So that I know, because this thing is still not updating. But anyhow, I believe I can see the chat. I know it's actually working now. I don't know if it's gonna get its damn act together. But okay, there we go. Finally, maybe it just got a hell of a lag behind it. I guess that might be what it is. Hell of a chick. How you doing, John Q? What up? Okay, now we in business. My bad. My bad. You know, if anybody ever questioned, people's motives, I mean, you can tell I'm just a regular motherfucker. I just everything I do just be regular as hell. But hold up. Oh, 10-second lag. Okay, okay. Seemed like it's longer than that. Cause I was waiting forever to pull the chat up. How the audio sound? Cause I'm gonna do some talking, right? I got something I want to talk to y'all about, so I need to know how the audio sound. Is it cool or is it straight? John, I went back and I checked out a portion of that live that you did. Was it last night or the night before? I don't even know. But okay, okay. So I'm tripping because actually the chat is now popping up on my monitor, and so I don't need my damn tablet. But I'm not gonna close it because I don't know how this thing feeling right now. Uh, I went back and I watched some of that live, John, because I mean, your lives be, I mean, damn, So I just watched a portion of it, and I got to break them down in like it's like a mini series. I understand, you be in your zone, y'all be talking or whatever, but I haven't watched it all. Uh, so I did hear a portion of it, and I wanted to kind of like clarify what the hell I'm doing. As you know, John, we talked about it. Uh, there is an avenue of approaching this case that I wanted to pursue. I detailed it with John and maybe one or two other people that are familiar with it. And I had actually abandoned the whole process, not because I feel that it's unattainable or that it won't work, but primarily because this is not a project for like a solo person. I mean, one person is, who knows, it's possible. I'm not going to say it's not possible, but it'll be one hell of an uphill battle for somebody to tackle this case solo or, go through the different channels to uh, possibly get it reopened or whatever. But it takes like a community or collective effort. That's what I believe. When somebody brings something to the forefront, some information, every little bit of information helps each one of us. It opens our minds to different possibilities. It motivates us to look in different areas that we may not have been focused on. So it's like a unified effort. And I believe it's the same thing as far as approaching getting the case reopened. Well, with that being said, I don't need to tell y'all what it's been looking like around here. I mean, it's not just recently, but for the last 6 months and then 3 months before that. I mean, it's just an ongoing thing. But with that being the case, I'm not about to sit up here and waste my time trying to pull together this support because it's just not me. If it's not there, it's not there. To be honest, I got other stuff to do. I'm interested in this case for the same reason that a lot of people are probably interested in this case. When I first heard about the case, I didn't think nothing of it. But then a month later, because I didn't get into this stuff like the beginning of October, that's when I came around in 2017. And when I got back on YouTube, I went to pull up some videos about the shooting out here in Vegas, and I happened to see that on the sidebar, and I was curious, like, what the hell? They still ain't arrested nobody for that? Because, when we first heard it, first thing I thought of was whoever did that good and locked the hell up. It's in a hotel that, I didn't think nothing of it. But come to find out a month later, it's still up there. I'm like, what the fuck? They still ain't locked nobody up? So that's how I got into it. I'm sure that's how most people got involved in it, because you heard the story. It sounded crazy as hell. Like, how in the hell somebody get in a damn freezer in a bit? You know what I'm saying? So then you go start looking into it, and then you start learning all these other aspects. So she was there with her friends, and then all the scandalous and all the treachery and all that shit come out. And since then, I've been, hoping they go right to Rosemont and Crown Plaza and start putting the cuffs on some people. So I've been wanting to do what I can to try to make that happen. If it happens, I'm praying that that's what happens. And I'm willing to offer my services to do whatever I can to make that happen. But with that being said, I couldn't see any core group of creators that were, I don't want to use the word sincere, because I know there are a lot of people that are sincere. They truly want to do things. But put it like this, I didn't feel like it would be worth my while to go ahead and just start, opening up dialogue or whatever. I felt that there was going to be too many complications. And if I feel like that, then, I talked to a couple people about it. They presented to me a couple different avenues that might be, roadblocks or whatever. And I just said, whatever. It's not going anywhere. We'll leave it on the back burner. But John, he kind of alluded to it yesterday about what I talked to him about. I thought it was the best single way to get the case reopened. And that truly should be anybody who is J4K. That should be your ultimate goal. I've said it before. None of us that I know of that are on YouTube have any subpoena powers. No one has any authority to issue any indictments. So it really baffles me why people are, trying to narrow it down to who, specific people and time and place. Because what ultimately are you doing with that? I don't know. So it's never been my concern to, focus on specific individuals, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to be able to do anything with that information. I can't indict anybody. I can't, I don't issue grand jury. You know what I'm saying? So the objective for me is to focus on getting the case reopened if possible. And the only way to approach that from a legal standpoint, you would have to prove through evidence, and not just evidence in itself, but it has to be evidence of a magnitude that, when reconsidered, would have an impact on the initial conclusion. Meaning you have to be able to produce something that, when taken at its value, it has the weight to potentially change what the outcome was in the initial investigation. Long story short, you have to have evidence of something that was flawed with the initial investigation in order to prompt them to do another one. It's kind of like common sense thinking, I would think. You're not going to come to me and tell me, oh, you need to open this case again because I think that and I think that. Okay, well, that's all fine and good. And that's kind of what Rosemont has been mentioning in so many words whenever they give the statements to the public, or they give the written press conferences, press releases. They're always alluding to facts, and they always mention facts, because that was their whole thing. They put it out there that they were going to present the facts according to them, that these are the facts, and according to them, there's not been any new facts to warrant opening the case again. Well, with that being said, with that being said, there is an avenue of approach. John hinted to it yesterday. It had to do with authentication of the surveillance video, because, like I know, like you know, like everybody knows, anybody with half a brain knows that this footage has been tampered with. I mean, we've all pointed out different aspects, different areas where, we see something that's not quite right. And some of us have pointed out flat out obvious indications of tampering. But the point is, we know that it's been manipulated. Why the authentication of this surveillance footage was never considered or brought up, I guess, by the Miss Teresa's attorneys, I have no idea. Why Rosemont never did it, we know why they didn't do it. But in any event, the surveillance was never authenticated. So when you consider, and I'll show you something here. Matter of fact, that's a great starting point. I'm going to show you how Rosemont, in their press release where they described their basis for closing the case, and they laid out their quote-unquote timeline of events, they actually listed these. Well, they didn't list it by name, but they referred to the events that they witnessed, claimed to have witnessed, whatever, on the surveillance footage. The surveillance footage was their primary piece of evidence that they came to their determination, that they used to come to the determination of an accidental death. They based that off of the fact that she was seen walking back there by herself. No one was seen after her. There's only one way in the kitchen. No one else came into the frame until the guy the next day. So based on all of that, they came to the conclusion that, well, this had to be accidental. Because if you think about it, had they actually considered the narratives of the people there, as much as they conflicted with each other, then that kind of like worked against what they were trying to achieve. So we've all read the narratives, the different things that people said, and we're like, well, why didn't they question them about this inconsistency about the time? Well, we know why. They weren't really focused on that. They had the camera footage, and they were going to base it off of that. Everything else was tailor-made. This is all my opinion, but it's logical. Everything else about this case was tailor-made to fit what they had already determined was going to have been the explanation for Kanika in that freezer. But I'm going to start right here. I don't want to, get ahead of myself. I'm going to start right here. Let me go back and share the screen so I can refresh. I'm sure you've all read this already, but I'm going to go back here so I can refresh you guys' memory as soon as I share this screen. Hold up. I'll just share the whole damn screen because, hell, why not? Okay, should be seeing it now. Let's see. And I'm referring to this press release here. Of course, this was the press release that was put out on the 20th. This was the day that they what the hell? Okay. This was, they put this out on the 20th of October. Also, when they closed the case and they released the 36 hours of footage. They're closing the case today. Okay, we know that. We know that, blah, blah, blah. Just want to read a couple paragraphs here. Miss Jenkins' body was located inside a walk-in freezer, which was inside a walk-in cooler. The area in which the body was discovered was on the first floor of the hotel, inside an unused and vacant kitchen. There is one motion-censored, misspelled, still camera inside the kitchen that points in the area of the freezer but does not show the door of the freezer. Now, I'm just going to mention right here, because it just annoys me every time I read anything that they have written. This is some of the most unprofessional wording and language to you. I mean, it's so generic, it's so vague. They're not specific about anything, but that's all on purpose, obviously. Additionally, there was only one accessible entrance into the kitchen. Anyone who would have walked toward the freezer would have activated this camera and been observed on hotel CCTV. You see, they're already laying that foundation of what it is that they're going to tell you later. Obviously, this is the last day, but there are press releases before this. They're just laying the groundwork. Everything else is just, they're just padding cushion just to give you the impression that, hey, we're doing an investigation here. This is what we're doing. We're doing this. We're doing that. And all they were doing, in my opinion, in this time was they had some people in their offices. They're just typing up paperwork. The paperwork that they then presented to us, they're just typing this stuff up. From the time Ms. Jenkins entered the kitchen to the time her body was discovered, no specific times, but that's what they said. That's what they say. Only one member of hotel security entered the kitchen while conducting his normal rounds. However, he did not get close to the freezer and was never out of sight of the camera. Okay, great. The freezer where Ms. Jenkins was discovered was on and working properly at the time of discovery. I beg to differ. The safety release device inside the operational blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read all that because we've already read it. But I do want to read this part. This is all padding here. Rosemont detectives begin investigating. This is what all they did. Who cares? But they want you to believe that they're doing something. Okay, so it is right here. In an effort to obtain a detailed layout of the kitchen in which Miss Jenkins was discovered, a high-tech Farro machine was utilized. Now listen to me. Understand what this machine is capable of. This machine is able to take extremely accurate measurements of a room, indicating the layout. In the event this kitchen is ever remodeled or changed, the location of items and the layout will be documented. You see that? They are so considerate that in the event it's ever changed, we want to make sure we have a layout of this kitchen documented by this high-tech precision laser scanning instrument. Okay? And because it's a high precision instrument, it is our hope that none of you will question what it presents when you have that information. This is the objective of the Farro scan. There is no purpose that comes to mind, no purpose whatsoever for taking a Farro scan of that kitchen, other than to take a molding, so to speak, of what they say is the way it was. You've got a digital representation, courtesy of Rosemont Police, of what that kitchen looked like. And they did that. They were proactive. They did that because, I guess they care. That's what they want us to believe. Additionally, based on the CCTV footage obtained through the hotel, along with witness statements, Rosemont detectives were able to trace the steps of Miss Jenkins from the hotel room to the kitchen. This documentation shows that Miss Jenkins exited the lower level, blah, 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 set of freezers. Some exact steps were observed. You see, I don't like reading through all this. There's a certain point I'm trying to get to. The initial CCTV footage showing Kanika Jenkins on camera was immediately turned over to Rosemont Public Safety Department. Additional footage to include 47 cameras. Footage exists in mirroring areas of the hotel, but not all. Okay. The footage was initially reviewed by our department and sent out to a private lab to determine if any portions could be enhanced, not authenticated, to be enhanced, in an effort to clarify the video. Great. That process has been completed and no new evidence or details have been discovered. What they are trying to convey is that they did their due diligence, got all the video footage, they sent it out, they had it analyzed. They couldn't glean anything else new from it, and therefore they are going to conclude the rest of their investigation because, according to them, they have no other evidence of anything else happening. So they're saying, well, she went in there by herself. No one went after her. No one went in that area. So we're just going to conclude that it was accidental. You have to assume that this is their conclusion because remember, they never told us They never said how she got in there or why she got locked in. They never said any of that. They've just concluded that it had to have been accidental. And because no one else was seen with her, and up until the time that she was discovered, no one had been back there. So because of that assumption, that conclusion is now that the death was accidental. So this is the primary piece of evidence that they are basing their conclusion on, the surveillance footage. The surveillance footage. There's a couple things I want to point out to you. Since the surveillance footage was never authenticated, it was my proposal, and like I said, I talked to a couple people about it. My proposal was to send a FOIA request to Rosemont for the surveillance camera footage on a hard disk drive. They had to put it on there. I didn't want the files that are online. Those are useless, to pursue any type of criminal procedure, because there's always the argument that they may have been tampered with, third parties. So I needed their evidence, the surveillance footage files, on a hard drive directly from them. The purpose is to submit those files on that hard drive directly from them. Now, understand, I was going to have them send it certified, registered mail. That way you establish the chain of custody, so that there's no argument of it may have been tampered with beforehand, but I was going to have it sent directly to an accredited forensic laboratory for examination. Now, this is not cheap. At least, well, there's only one place that I called, that I spoke with, and that I was leaning towards going with. I had never got to the point where I finalized that they would accept this mail directly to them from the Rosemont police. I never got to that point. Rosemont did say that they were going to provide the footage on the hard drive. I think it was $50 or $80, one of the two. And they would provide it on a hard drive. They would mail it wherever I wanted to. I'm sure they would have done certified, although they didn't specifically address that. But they were going to mail that back to wherever address I provided them. And that, of course, like I just explained, would have been to an accredited forensic video analysis or manipulation detection company. And that's for processing. That way it goes directly from them to the company for processing, an accredited company that is legally recognized. Their results can be used for argument. The point being, and I'm very confident they would have, if the forensic company is to determine that, yes, we have found evidence of manipulation, that is your legal argument to open the case. It directly attacks their primary piece of evidence that they use to make their determination. So if you discredit the primary piece of evidence, this is what you guys use to determine accidental. Well, now I'm debating that, because that's not even authentic. We have them saying it's tampered with. This is all under the assumption that that is the conclusion that the forensic company would come back with, that they would say it's tampered with. If I were a betting man, I'd bet my lung that they probably would. But regardless, even if they didn't, even if they came back that said, no, the footage is not tampered with, or not that they said it's not tampered with, but if they said, well, these are all the files, this is all that we have, so yeah, we'll put it on a hard drive, we'll send it to you. And I would still send that over for analysis, because I'm confident that it would come back as tampered with. You see, the FOIA request was originally to get them to send any additional files that they may have. I was under the assumption that they have some raw files that they're withholding, and they may very well have other files that they're withholding, but I don't know that. According to them, everything they have is on that site. They've replied to numerous requesters with the same response. what we have is what we have. Well, since that's the case, I'm pretty confident that what we have seen already, what's on that site, is tampered with. So even if they were to put those same files on the hard drive, it could still be submitted over there. And I'm confident, as I'm sure most of you are, that it would still come back tainted and tampered with and everything else. So with that being the case, that is what the objective was. Of course, this stuff costs money. It did cost money, and the idea, the intention was at that time, if I remember right, we were going to do like a, I don't know if it was GoFundMe. I don't think we had even determined like how the funds could be raised. But then an issue came up as to, you know, whether or not people would think that it's legit and whatever. And I said, well, at that point, I pretty much just, you know, I racked my brain thinking, well, how do we go about doing this? I don't know if the place will establish a GoFundMe in their name, meaning the forensic company, so that when people donate it, they can see that it's going directly to the company. I don't know. I didn't know if they would do that. And to be honest, I kind of got a little pissed off about it. And I just said, you know what, forget it. I don't know. This is what I propose we should do. I don't know about raising the money, but I know one thing: I'm not paying for it, because the quote I got for the services that they were talking about doing was around, if I remember right, about $800. And that's just to analyze, like, I mean, a minimum amount of video. So that's what the process was. That's what we were going to do. And that's something that I'm working on that's aside from what it is that I'm going to show you tonight. Because the question is always brought up, well, what the hell are you going to do with that information? You know, like, what are you showing us that for? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you going to do with that? You going to take it to the FBI? Or, you know, people always say stuff like that. So, and I understand. It's a good point. Good point. What are we going to do about it? Well, what I'm doing about it is separate, completely separate from what a couple things that I want to show you tonight. And I'm only showing this stuff because people come along to this case all the time. New, old. You hear people say, I've been here since day one. Hey, that's great, fine, dandy, whatever. I haven't been here long enough, but I have enough common sense to know that, hell, I don't see everything. I like to sit back, and when people who haven't created, they put up videos, they catch stuff that I don't see. I welcome fresh eyes. I mean, we all should. I like to sit back and, you know, kind of like what Dave Chappelle said about the protests. Well, why am I going to go out there and speak? I'll let this new generation, they can see for themselves. They can do it themselves. And just be an encouraging aspect. You know, I comment on a lot of people's videos. I don't beef with anybody, not that I know of. And I welcome these fresh eyes, because people notice stuff all the time. They get insight, even though a lot of stuff is repetitive. I don't care. If I don't want to hear it, I don't watch the videos. You know what I'm saying? I don't see where all the criticism comes from. But anyhow, people see a lot of different things. And I just happen to just go back through some files and photos, and I noticed a couple additional things. And this is just so that, you know, when people see this, it's just additional supporting documentation, so to speak, that what we've been given is fabricated. And also that what I've long since maintained, that this kitchen, quote unquote kitchen, served a different purpose. And shout out to Clark Avenue, by the way, because he kind of, you know, was headed in this direction. Excellent channel, man. Him, hell of a chick, man. There's a lot of damn good creators out there. I'm not finna go into everybody. Y'all know who they are. Y'all know who get down and, you know, who full of shit. It don't even need to be talked about. I mean, just what it is, what it is. But yeah, there's a lot of things going on. I'm gonna show you these other two photos. They're from the medical examiner's files. You know, the photos that came from the medical examiner, and they're pictures of the kitchen. Clark Avenue had talked about how the beverage manager should be ServSafe certified. And I completely agree with him. I've been working in restaurants for a long time. I'm a manager of a restaurant. Before that, I was a kitchen manager. I mean, I have years of experience in commercial kitchens. He's 100% right. Uh, Serve Safe certification is, it's like supplemental uh, knowledge for working in kitchens. Everybody is not required to have it, but management specifically is almost always they're Serve Safe certified. Besides that, the questions are common knowledge, most of them, because you have to have healthcare licensing from some entity in your state in order to work in the kitchen. So he mentioned that the kitchen or beverage manager had come into the kitchen, possibly from one of those two little swinging doors by the office, and maybe he went and opened the freezer. Let me see if I can get this photo up first. Maybe he went and unlocked the freezer or opened the freezer, discovered Kanika, and then went and unlocked the wooden doors. He suggested that maybe they were latched. I think that's a fairly good assumption. Fairly good assumption. Now, we're speculating here, but you have to think about it logically. Would those doors have been locked? I believe yes. I believe that they were locked, because the only reason I believe that is because why else had no one else ever searched in that area all damn day? The only reason I would think is because no one could get in there. No one was seen in this kitchen. According to them, no one was in there. There's no file footage of it. So if that's the case, then I think it's reasonable to conclude no one went in there because they couldn't get in there. So that also goes back to what Clark Avenue said. Maybe he went that way because he had to go and unlock those sliding bolt latch things, that are on the door. So let me show you what I'm talking about. You all have seen them on there. Yeah, I'm talking about this, these things here, but they're on the wooden doors, but they're here too. Every time I point these out, people have said, well, hey, the area was under construction. They had it locked maybe because they didn't want nobody in there. It don't make no sense. It makes no sense at all. So they have latches there. We know that they're on the other two wooden doors. And the argument is that, well, perhaps they were securing the area because they didn't want anybody in there or whatever. So I was looking at, hold on, I'm trying to see where the folder is at. Okay. So I was looking at, I don't know where the hell the folder is. Well, anyway, I'll have to go find it. I'll just go in the medical examiner's file, since I don't know where the folder is. But I was looking at the medical examiner's photographs, just going over a couple of them. And I'm going to point out to you some things that I noticed. We're just going to go through them. That'd be the easiest way to do it. I don't know why my computer is tripping. Okay. What did I notice here? Oh, I wanted to point out to you that since a lot of you know that I have the camera, the actual camera, 7135, and this is the same camera that we see here. This red light, just so you know, FYI, the red light solid. I don't know if it was solid. Of course, this is a capture, but I would assume, unless someone's timing is just that damn good, that red light is steady, which only means that the camera is powered on and it is connected to the network. So it's a network connected camera. If you spot any cameras in your video that have blue, then that's a different story. There's something else going on. And I don't want to just be telling you, I'm gonna show you, because you know how we are. We all about facts and all that shit, right? So instead of me telling you, what the hell is it? I'm not just going to tell you, I'm going to show you. These are the LED lights. This comes right from the 7135 manual. Just so you know, this is FYI. Network is set up, system up, blink every second, blink blue every second, and steady red. I can't tell from that photo if it was blinking blue. We don't know. But I'm assuming it's a steady red. This is the only one that it possibly could have been. At least from my interpretation, because I didn't see a steady blue. Steady blue, didn't see it. Blink blue every second and fast blink red. I guess it could have possibly been this, but I doubt if it was upgrading the firmware. So if you see a picture with the red, then those cameras are working. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, I just wanted to throw that out at you. And that's the only thing that I actually wanted to point out in that photo, in that particular photo. Now let's go back to the files. And we were talking about kitchens, well, at least Clark Avenue was. He mentioned the kitchens, and, you know, he had worked in them. Of course, I just explained to you I have as well. And there's some things about kitchens that just are not legitimate. They're just not. It just wouldn't fly in the kitchen. Same camera, 7135. Red light. All right. Did anybody notice, I'm sure you did, that these doors had some little handles right here on the interior? In fact, they were on the, is it the Farro scan? I think it was. The Farro scan, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I'm not going to go into that, but I'm sure you've seen them. On the 360 video images, there are some little handles that go right here that are not in these photos. So when we were talking about those sliding bolts, and let's see, I don't know if it's in this folder. Let me see. It is not this folder, the next one. I want to take you to this photo right here. Now, if the argument is that those bolts were there to keep people out, why do they have these bolts on these doors? And let me explain something to you about kitchens. I'm telling you this from experience, what I know. I'm not just telling you what I think, I'm telling you what I know. Typically, these doors, and usually they swing both in and out in kitchens. Typically, they do. They're required by law, legally, if they're kitchen doors, that they all need to have a window in them in order to facilitate safety and visibility. Of course, since they swing both ways, normally, they need to have that window there to prevent accidents. You don't want to bang somebody in the face with it. You know, a lot of times servers are carrying trays and so forth. And they're required to have that window in them. These doors obviously don't swing both ways, and that's apparent because they have these, you know, they have the hydraulic arms on them. So it looks like they open outwards towards whoever's taking this photo. And generally, kitchen doors, for the most part, almost all of them, don't have these metal kick panels on them. Some of them have the metal at the bottom, kick plates, because a lot of times servers will use their foot to kick the door open, but they're generally just, you know, a solid light wood, and they have a kick panel or kick plate on the bottom. Not the whole panel like that. So they can call this a kitchen, these kitchen doors or whatever. Look at the gap between, I mean, is there a gap between these doors? Not looking at this. Look how snug these doors are. Looks like at one point there was even some sort of bolt right here. Not to mention you also have a key lock here. So they can say, okay, yeah, this is a kitchen. Those are like, you know, they want us to believe these are typical like swinging doors. These obviously aren't. And we know, you know, I see panels like this. They're on the wood, obviously, to protect the wood from damage, from, you know, things banging against it, metal carts, tables, gurneys, whatever. But they're there to protect the wood. So for the most part, in a kitchen, you generally don't need stuff like this. But yeah, we can't see the inside of this door, but it's a fairly good assumption to make that they probably have those latching bolts on the inside of here too. Wanted to point that out. This picture, you have to question, why is it that did the medical examiner take these on his cell phone? I mean, because this is like in a portrait mode. They have cameras. Why is this photo, why is it long like this? I don't know. But besides that, anybody who's worked in the kitchen knows pretty much the layout of them. I mean, I can just look at this and there are a lot of things that stood out to me. For one, there is an insane amount of, not so much in this picture, but we'll see in follow-up ones, there's a insane amount of pans, pots, and stuff like that. And generally in the kitchen area where you're working and doing prep, all that stuff is not right there. You have the things that you're going to need to prepare the food. And whatever you're doing, if you're prepping, you bring those items over there. But this stuff all the stuff has its own area. It's not just strewn about. Now, of course, you can argue that, hey, maybe they just lazy as hell in this kitchen. Maybe they, do whatever. It could be. But I think it's more logical to conclude that this kitchen is doctored, especially when you consider these are deep fryers. Obviously, these are deep fryers. But these deep fryers were never here. They're here in this photo. And remember, this is a working kitchen. This isn't the unused kitchen. This is a working kitchen. But why are these fryers here? They haven't been used here, and it's apparent because look at the wall behind it. People who've worked in the kitchen know what I'm talking about. Fryers, obviously, you're cooking with oil, and as you use them, the oil completely, we know what it does to the wall behind it. Now, yes, they could have cleaned this wall. Perhaps they did. Perhaps they cleaned it to where these filthy fryers are here with a clean wall behind them. But that's not the case. That's not the case because these fryers would never be here because there's a water sprinkler here. Now, the fryers, in the event of a fire, they're going to operate from the fire suppression system. That would put out the flames there, but you're also not going to have water sprinklers. You're not going to have those discharge where there's cooking oil. That's a recipe for disaster. That's not going to happen. That would have never gotten approved like this. This would never have gotten approved. I've noticed that, and I'm thinking, why is there a water sprinkler there? And they're telling us that these were the fryers were right here. The way they have the kitchen all laid out, the way that they've shown us, and I'm about to go to the chat in 1 second. The way that they have this laid out, it's like they positioned this to give you the impression that this kitchen is legit. From a logistical standpoint, you just wouldn't have the fryers on the, right where this corner is where there's a lot of foot traffic. It's just not practical right there. This table certainly isn't because it extends out past the wall here. That's just not practical. It's not a logistical setup for a kitchen. It's not efficient. By law, these fryers are required. I'm telling you this because I'm going to assume that these fire standards are pretty similar regardless of state that you go to. I mean, these are like federal fire codes. But these actually need to have components from the fire suppression system directed directly down into each well of the fryers. That's a federal statute. That's not just me telling you. I mean, you can go look it up yourself. I encourage you to. But these should have, different pipe attachments that direct the fire suppression system directly into the fryers. Next time you're in a fast food restaurant, you can see back there, just take a look. Or any restaurant. They'll have those there. generally they have them directed at each component that they're operating, which further tells me that, these fryers weren't here. Stuff is moved around to give the impression that that's what's going on here. That's what I picked up from that photo. What I was talking about earlier about all the pots and pans, this is what I'm talking about. Sheet pans would be there. Those are sheet pans, obviously, to put different baking things on. They would be there. I don't know what cans these would be with no labels on them. This would never, ever fly in any kitchen in America. It wouldn't even fly in your home kitchen. I have no idea what this is supposed to be. Would not fly. Same camera. This is what makes me think that this is not a kitchen, because it's just not. This would get so many violations. They would never have been able to legally run this place. It's just not designed for a commercial food service kitchen. See how all the pots and stuff are stored in the middle of where, I mean, how productive does this look to you? Look at this guy. Let me see if I could zoom in here a little bit. Hold up. I'm trying to check some out here. I don't know. He might have on a hairnet, but that's petty stuff. But yeah, he would need to have on a hairnet. I mean, you're going to be hard pressed to find very many cooks that actually wear the apron down like that, if that's a cook apron, because they're normally not. I don't know. He could be, I don't know. I can't really call that, but that's. Yeah, that's a little weird. Most cooks aren't going to wear. I don't know. He could. He perhaps he's a butcher. I don't know. So I can't really call that. But another thing I noticed with these things here. What are these? Let me check the chat too, because y'all might have the answer for this that I don't know. What are these? These things here. They're at the bottom of each one of these freezers. Are they like what do you call those things? The weather cold draft things that you put under your door. I think they are like cold. Yeah, I think it's like flat in the middle, and it has like foam right here. Well, at least the ones you buy for your house. I'm not sure if that's what these are, but they keep the draft out. Is that what these are? At the bottom of their coolers here? All their coolers have keyholes on them. While that's not common, it certainly is up to the establishment if they have them there. I mean, that's possible. But these little draft protector things, no, I don't think that's. I'm not sure what those are. See, the problem is if those are supposed to be there to prevent draft from coming over there, then that means you're operating inefficient freezers or coolers. These are inefficient. Rather than seal the draft down, I mean, that indicates a problem with the whole construction of these freezers. These are supposed to be airtight to keep the temperature in. So I'm curious, what are these and why are they there? Or is this just built into the floor? Are they? While they might be those little air draft things, I'm thinking, my initial thought was that there's something they're like just a rubber thing put right there to facilitate wheels easily accessing going inside of these little cooler things here, or whatever they are. Maybe you could wheel something in there. I don't know. But whatever the case, I'm not sure what those are. I was wondering if y'all knew. This is somewhat rare, at least nowadays. I don't see this much anymore. Floor drains in kitchens are normally porcelain. Typically, they're square porcelain with a porcelain identical material grate that goes over the top. And that's an NSF standard because the porcelain material, and it's actually protected with a different chemical, but the porcelain allows for easy cleaning where you could get rid of all the germs and stuff. This could be a very old kitchen, but you almost will never see drains like this. You just won't. Now, while that drain may be bad, these are even less common. And just looking at the filth and debris in them, you can kind of understand why. These are not common, not for food service kitchens. They're not. I mean, just look at the accumulation in there. And since they have the weight of these appliances, apparently this is an appliance, the leg of it sitting right on there. Can you imagine when is this thing ever cleaned out? These things are not typically used in food service kitchens. These floor drains like this. I've been working in kitchens for over 20 years, and I could not tell you for the life of me what appliance this is supposed to be. It could be, the only thing I could possibly think it would be, just based on the top portion, would be a pizza oven, a ceramic pizza oven, where this would be one door, this would be a second door. It could be, but at the same time, it's sitting on top of a shelf part, and that's not, of course, that wouldn't be the case if it were a ceramic pizza oven. Since this is slotted, these slots here indicate to me that there is appliances behind here, probably refrigeration, or there's something back here that requires ventilation. I cannot identify, and I've been in kitchens over 20 years, what appliance this could be. If anybody knows, let me know. What is this supposed to be? So you have that drain there, and then you have this table here with this drain. What is this? What kind of table is this? I mean, remember, we're thinking in the context of like a food service kitchen. The only place you're going to see a table like this is in the dishwasher area, and even that's rare. This table here, based on the lip of these edges here, tells me that this is not a dishwashing table, because this would be higher to prevent water when you're doing dishes from splashing and falling to the floor. This table was never meant for splashing to go on, because it has very low the railing around it. This obviously this is obviously a drain. It's for something to drain here. So what that would be, I have no idea. I just have speculation, and Lord knows, this case got plenty of that already. But this is definitely an unusual table right here for this kitchen. All of this is not indicating anything. I'm just pointing out some things that I'm telling you, are not right for a kitchen. They just aren't. This place has more fire suppression systems than you can ever possibly hope to see in a kitchen of these sizes. I mean, these aren't really big kitchens. They're really not. I'm assuming this is, well, it could be. I don't know. It's kind of odd shaped. I don't know why this is tucked here. I'm not sure what this is. But this whole layout, anyway, is all screwed up. That place is all jacked up. So here we go right here. Now, of course, I'm sure we've all noticed the lock here. So we know that they lock things up. A lock this long obviously goes in the bolts on these doors. Some of them have holes just like this one. They lock things up. You know, that goes in there. That's what they have that for. So we got another one here. We getting all this right. Fire suppression knobs. Again, right by the cooler, I guess. So in case you're around this corner and you happen to, notice that there's a fire going on, you could come around here and pull them. These are generally, of course, right where the appliances are, or within reach. These doors here, this is supposed to lead back out to the lower level bathroom. I guess. I don't know what this caged up area would be, and this is not the only place that we see this. I have no idea what that would be. The only logic I could see for a caged in area, maybe they had alcohol in there and they might lock that stuff up, but this does not look like where they store alcohol. Just given the fact that all this pipe and stuff and runs through there, they have this area caged and locked off. We never are afforded the opportunity to see down that way, so I have no idea what's down there or why this stuff here is locked up. And just like that area where all those chairs are stacked up at, that whole area is a chain link fence behind it. Never in my life of working in a kitchen have I ever seen a chain link fence, a motorized one at that, in a commercial kitchen area. I've never seen that. I can't even think of what the use would possibly be for that. But I want to point out this other thing to you. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but somebody please tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe that this is the same hallway. I think they took pictures of it, and here it is right here. This hallway, and I'm going to go back a few photos because they're all in sequence of how they took them. Obviously, this is, I guess, the guy coming out of the elevator. He's showing us the way she went. She went that way. Interestingly enough, I want to point out to you, from here, coming out of the elevator, let me show you something. Is that the camera there? Isn't that the camera? So that camera sees clear down here through this opening. But we never see Kanika come out of the elevator. I mean, not from the angle that is, I forget the name of that camera, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about when she first come out the elevator. We see that, but when she come this way, then she bangs up against the wall, and then she walks this way. Next time we see her, she pops up over here. So we never see her actually walk over there. And that's in view of this camera right here. But anyhow, the hallway I was referring to is this one. Now, this hallway, we see her. Is this the hallway that she came around this way and then went on down there? Is that hallway? This isn't the west hallway. Is this the west hallway? The one where she came this way and then she came over here and then walked in the middle. You guys know, y'all already know. Which hallway is this? Whichever hallway you determine it to be, I want to see what y'all think of. What hallway is this? Somebody please tell me because I'm confused. Lower level lobby stairs. That's right. Auxiliary office. That's the area that's around. Right. Okay. Backup generator, maybe. Could be. Anybody know which hallway is this? Now these are in the ME files, and I kind of went back to like give some context to their order of picture taking. So which hallway is this? Is this the West Hall? Lower level stairs hall. Okay. So this is the one where she came from this way? Because remember one of them she like walked by. I don't know. But the reason I pointed that out because the next picture in sequence is this one. And is this the one where we now see her coming from the left to the right and then coming back that way? And the following photo after this is this hallway. So West Hall, they do not show. Okay, so these two hallways, this one, let's go back. Then over here, and this one. Okay, so this is the lower level. You said this is the lower level stair hall. Okay, is that what this hallway is? Lower level stair. It's the West Hall going towards the lower level East hallway. So this is the West Hall, and the one 2 clicks from here, this goes to the, or sorry, this is the East Hall. Same hallway. That was my question, Jackie. What I was thinking. That's what I was wondering. And you're right. It's the same damn hallway. This is the same hallway. So like I said, you know, I've been on the case since October, but hell, I don't know everything. So somebody please enlighten me. What the hell is the purpose? Why? So you take this picture and then you go here, then you show us this, and then the next photo is this. Would you say that they're trying to confuse us? Is that what this is? They're trying to confuse us, right? Or maybe I'm just late. You know, maybe y'all already knew this, and I just assumed that, you know, they're showing us a path. Why would they take this picture? Of course, yeah, and they got a couple people down there. What the hell is that down there? Some guy in white, like, somebody. Yeah, same hallway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that monitor thing there. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, it's the same hallway, I'm pretty sure. Same damn hallway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a monitor thing. And matter of fact, it's the cops down there, huh? Yeah, that's the police. Yeah, I guess they just no idea who the fuck that is. I have no clue. Who the hell is? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, this is the same damn hallway. So I don't know. Maybe I was just late. You guys probably already knew that, but I mean, I don't know. I always thought it was 2 different hallways. Of course, I already pointed that out about those doors. I think I already been to this picture. And hold up. Maybe why they showed us the same hallway, thinking we wouldn't catch on. That, you know, that's the first thing I assumed, Malika. That they put it in there, maybe trying to confuse us or thinking we wouldn't notice. Because you know they also took the photos like, you know, sort of from the different angles that the cameras are shown when we see the footage. Like this could be the West hallway because remember she come down all right around here and all that. Then she dip around the corner, and then this way. Now it's on this side. Like, why are you leaning all to the side? Just imagine the camera taker standing there. He got the camera. He all off to the side. Why? Why would you just stand in the middle and just take a damn picture? Unless you know what I'm saying? Just the natural things people do, he's not doing. It's like it's deliberate. What are you taking pictures like all leaned up to the left for? Unless you're trying to get us to believe that, hey, you looking at a whole different hallway when you're really not. Rosemont full of shit. All the stuff they did, man, it all had a purpose. I don't care what nobody say. All of it had a purpose. And listen, all those people there, while a bunch of them are idiots, as a collective, they're not all stupid. They know what the hell they're doing. They may act dumb, but those are not idiots employed there. Let me see. There's something else I need to talk to y'all about. Besides all that, this is just shit that I just noticed. I just pick up on that really don't have much to do with my main objective, but it's just stuff that I pick up on. Anyhow, as you guys know, I have that camera. I'm actually about to make a move with it because, like I told you, I'm not doing all the work, and I just don't have the patience or the time to deal with it. My whole point of getting it was so that we can do some research about these files, all the questions that we have about the files, the timestamps, the metadata, all that shit. Yeah. I saw one on eBay, so I bought it. So I have the camera. The last live I did, I hooked it up and I showed you guys, what was up with at least my preliminary investigation with the timestamps. And I showed you what was up with that and the camera time and clock time. But I'm going to tell you something right now. They still fuck with those timestamps. Now, let me see. Hold up. I don't know if she's in here because that's what I do. I get on here and I just be talking and then I'll go look at the chat later because I get sidetracked easy. You know what I'm saying? My mind always going. I don't know if she's in here. I don't know if Chloe's in here or not. But if she is, Chloe, listen. You, Humongous D, Jackie Drag, all you guys were right about, the cameras they do have the capability to, have their own time. You can have the camera time, and then you can go and set the settings so that, yes, you can have it display the system time. I mean, I showed that. But all of that is out the window. I'm going to tell you why. I'm not going to do it right now. Maybe I'll do it later because I don't feel like getting up, plugging the damn camera up. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. I'm just not going to do it right now. But what I'm telling you is that when you go to export the files of a video, let's say I recorded something all day today. I had the camera going and I just got home and I'm like, hey, you know what? I need to make some copies of the video from earlier. When you go to export the files, you have the option of having that exported file display the time that was recorded at the time of the recording, or you can configure it to display whatever time it is right now or whatever time you decide to input. You can input a time to affix to already recorded footage. It's possible. So the issue about the time, and I'm going to show you, I'm not just going to talk about it. I'm going to show, obviously I've seen it. Otherwise I wouldn't just be mentioning this to you, but you can go and apply a time to a pre-recorded video that was done at 8 o'clock this morning. It's already on my hard drive, already saved. I just haven't exported it into an exe file or whatever. But when you go to do that, you can input 4:30 in the afternoon, even if it was recorded at 8, or you can apply the actual time of the recording to the recording. The short story of it means you can still change the time whenever you go to put those recordings on a file. You can change the times. The time that's recorded is not necessarily the time that's going to be displayed with it when you view it. That's my point. And I'm going to show you. I told Chloe, I kind of alluded to it earlier, that, hey, there's a plot twist to all that camera time, clock time. Yes, that's true. They do have different times. You can configure it that way, but you can also configure it so that you can put whatever time the hell you want on there at the time when you go to export them. And once they're exported, then that's what they are. But you can apply whatever time you want to on pre-recorded videos. And I'm thinking, who the hell buys Vivotech? I mean, why would you even have that capability with a surveillance camera? Why would you even have that with your software? I mean, it's just crazy. Like, defeats the whole purpose. What type of crooked organizations does Vivotech supply their cameras to? Well, we know. Rosemont. Had you ever heard of Vivotech before this shit? Well, yeah, that's probably why. But it's just like an unheard of thing. You'd be able to go back and change time. Why would anybody ever want to do that? Unless it's for something illegitimate. But yes, it's capable on that software that I have on the computer. And I'll hook it up here in a little bit. And I'll probably come back on, make a little short video showing you exactly how to get to it or whatever. But yes, you can change the time. So I think that's significant because I was pretty much sold on, okay, well, maybe these are the right damn times. But common sense told us all along, them ain't the right damn times. You know better than that. I think like we should all stick to like our first mind, our first belief. Forget everything that they've told you because they don't have any incentive to tell the truth. Not anybody involved in the case. Nobody has any incentive to tell you the truth. Everything you've been presented is a bunch of bullshit, and it's all been created and manufactured just to go along with their narrative. I have another question for y'all. I'm gonna pose it to y'all because it's something else I noticed, and I may be wrong. Court documents in my state, when you get papers from a court, district, justice court, whatever, they always follow a specific format when they're typed up, when they're prepared. Usually they're double spaced. They are numbered. Each individual line of the document is numbered off to the side, and that's simply so that when an attorney is referencing a certain area of that form in court, he can quickly, by number, point out where it is that he's speaking from. He'll tell the prosecutor, I'm on line 35, blah, 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 and they quickly can scan down to 35 and follow along with whatever the hell they're talking about. That's my assumption for why they do that. Just a personal belief. I don't know. I'm not a damn paralegal. I don't know. But is it like that in your states, or have you seen different? Have you seen like single typed, single spaced court documents? Like without the numbers on the side, do you just see like a bunch of shit just typed up, just supposed to be a court document? Is that common where you live? Because it's not. I've never seen it. I could be wrong, but I don't know. And obviously the reason I bring that up is because go in the files and look yourself. Look at this. Just look at the court document. It's all a bunch of bullshit. It's a waste of time. Like I think it was a complaint for a search warrant. This is a complaint for a search warrant that you're going to present to a judge in court. It's single space. It's like, I'll show you better than I can tell you. I might as well, since I'm sitting right here at the damn things. It's single space. It's clumped together. It's all a bunch of garbage. There are no numbers. And at the very top of it, as a matter of fact, what was that in narratives? I think it is narratives. I believe it is. Or it might not be. I know Jackie knows. Which court document? I'm talking about the complaint for a search warrant. Why do I have it showing this way? It's not helpful when you're looking at text. Usually pre-printed documents and depositions, but I know the form you're talking about, and no judge is going to read that little print. I didn't think so either. At the very top of it, and since I'm not familiar with specific file numbers or what the hell is that, and I'm not about to go search for it, y'all know what I'm talking about. Take a look at it for yourself, you know, and maybe you can provide that information to me. But at the very top of it, it even says, I think in parentheses, it says like court case number or court branch or something like that. In other words, it seems like it's one of those forms that you get like from what do you call it? Legal form, Nevada legal forms. That's the name of the place out here. But you know them online pre-prepared self-help document places that you know just fill in the information and we'll just put it where it needs to go on the form. You know what I'm saying? So I saw it. I'm like, what the fuck? This is what the police is presenting to the. I don't know. Could be, maybe not. I don't know. But I haven't taken the time to go look at like Cook County they court records and all that stuff. But I would assume that they follow a similar format for presentation. Not what I've seen in the Rosemont files. It just looks like nonsense to me. Search warrant also had where PSO walked on Kanika 2 in the southwest corner of basement kitchen. Online law docs, exactly. That's what it's called. Legal Zoom, same thing. Yep. I don't think any of that stuff. Listen, all this stuff here is garbage as far as I'm concerned. It just is. I pretty much threw it all out the window when you claim she died of hypothermia, yet nobody, not the coroner, not the doctor, not the medical staff, nobody took her temperature. No one knows what her body temperature was. Yet she died of hypothermia and no one ever took her temperature. There's not a temperature anywhere in any document, but she died from freezing to death. How do you not take a person's body temperature? How do you not do that? So you mean to tell me y'all ain't take her temperature, huh? Okay. We don't know what her temperature was. I mean, that's like when you go to the doctor, you got to stand on the scale. Let's get your blood pressure. I mean, damn, what the hell? They take your, I mean, what? You don't have her temperature, really? And she died of hypothermia? Okay, and you never took her temperature, right? They would have to take your temperature in order to, I mean, to determine like what degree of medical care, if any, that they're going to provide to you. They need to know the core body temperature. There are different procedures that can be done to someone suffering from hypothermia, but you need to know like at what stage of hypothermia they're at. How did they? I don't know. Could just be me. Could just be me. But I don't know where that document is in here. I'm not about to look for it, but y'all already know which one I'm talking about, man. The court document. I mean, just look at the documents in general. Just look at them. In general, just ask yourself, is that really, like, come on now, really? All of the phone logs, none of them are from Verizon. None of them are on a Verizon or T-Mobile letterhead. They're just typed up, this is what was said. We don't know that. We don't know that. And like I said, they don't have any incentive to be honest. Why would they? You ever seen phone records on a typed up white piece of paper? I have, and that was when I printed them out myself. But if you go to T-Mobile, you go to Sprint, you're going to have something that says, not in this case. Not in this case, you don't. You don't have any of that. You got just typed up nonsense. Typed up nonsense that all comes together to fit what they created. It's just, you know, like I said, all this is just my opinion. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I just know that it's not credible. And just to circumnavigate all the nonsense, all the crazy shit that I don't have time for, all these documents and all these different people who were at the hotel that I don't give a damn about. I don't care who these people are. I don't care what gang they're in. I don't care. None of that's going to help. None of that. Unless, hey, somebody tell me they got y'all ready to issue some subpoenas with all the information you find, and I'm right there with you. Sign me up. I'm good. Now, I don't even watch those videos. I just don't. It's to me, it's useless information, really. I don't care who baby mama that. I don't care. It's pointless, and it's a waste of time. But if we could focus on what might possibly help the case, like attack whatever they use to close this case, which they kind of explained it themselves. It was just what they saw in the surveillance footage. That's what they're claiming. They based their determination on, that she wasn't followed, And they were laying the groundwork from the very, very beginning that that's what they were going to do. They were going to say that, hey, nobody was following her in there. I'm going to show this last little thing here real quick. Let me see. Because I don't think very many people caught on to it when I put it on my channel. This video right here. They were alluding to it at the very beginning. I don't know what that is. Okay, well, it crashed. I don't know. I think, yeah, this is the file. I believe it is.
We were talking, and people were asking, this video, motion activated, several hallways, this section by the freezer, an area, the girl's on video, and she is having trouble walking. And is she alone? Is anybody with her?
No, she's alone. You know, the video would have showed all of that. And the area where she went, as I stated, there's no way you can get out on the other side. You can only get out one way. I mean, it's solid back there. I looked all over. There's no way you can get out. Not even a window back there.
Right. Right, Andrew. Right. Okay. What'd you say, Andrew? There's no what? Can y'all hear this audio? Y'all can hear this audio? There's not even a window back there and blah, 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 blah. Man, ain't nobody asked you about none of that. Nobody asked you about none of that. So what's the point, Andrew?
We're asking.
What's the agenda?
This video, motion activated, several hallways.
Right.
This section by the freezer,
right.
An area. The girl's on video, and she is having trouble walking. And is she alone? Is anybody with her?
Is anybody with her?
No, she's alone. You know, the video would have showed all of that. And the area where she went, as I stated, there's no way you can get out on the other side. You can only get out one way. I mean, it's solid back there. I looked all over. There's no way you can get out. Not even a window back there.
Okay, but she didn't ask you none of that, Andrew. She didn't ask you nothing about any of that. She never asked you that. So who you trying to convince and of what, Andrew?
This video, motion activated, several hallways. This section by the freezer, an area. The girl's on video, and she is having trouble walking. And is she alone? Is anybody with her?
No, she's alone. You know, the video would have showed all of that. And the area where she went, as I stated, there's no way you can get out on the other side. You can only get out one way. I mean, it's solid back there. I looked all over. There's no way you can get out. Not even a window back there.
You a damn lie. You a damn lie. Yeah, I'm going to say it. You's a damn lie. You're a damn lie. You sure, Andrew? Because, I mean, you went out your way to be really convincing. You sure that there's no way out back there? Because I'm starting to wonder now. Now that you put it all like that, I'm really starting to wonder. I'm going to tell you something else about this camera. I'm going to put this out there because I'm not doing all the damn work. Here's some homework for you, right? This camera has a viewing angle. Let me pull up this file first. It has a viewing angle. That means the specifications of the camera lens, the angle that it can capture the images of 47 degrees. That's by the camera specs that come with the camera. I'm gonna pull that up too. Hold up, because I don't want to just tell you. I got to show you, and because I do everything just at the last minute, I actually have to go and find it. It's right here. Is it? No. It's right. It's right up here somewhere. Here it is. This is the manual to the camera. I think I already have it downloaded. It is right here. It has the camera specs in it, and it gives you the viewing angle of the camera. The reason I'm pointing this out, let me show you this first. The reason I'm pointing this out is for this reason. So I don't even need to go into this if ain't nobody gonna do the damn work. This camera angle has a viewing angle of 47 degrees. We have the measurements, at least of the freezer portion of that walk-in cooler, provided by the one of those cops. I guess they took measurements of it and they have all that. So with that being said, you have that the measurements. Okay, I'm tripping. Where is it? Hold up. I'm gonna let y'all go, man. Hold on a second. I want to show you this. You know the Farro scan file that is like it basically is the floor plan of the at least a portion of the upper kitchen. The upper kitchen floor plan, because it, from the direction that however this thing captured, it's in here somewhere. from the direction that the scanner captured it, you can see that it's, I don't know, I think it's like an overhead shot. This one here, it's like an overhead. Yeah, that's overhead. Well, the camera captures 47 degrees. It captures like a 47-degree angle. This she would have come in this way. I don't know if you guys can see that. I hope you can, because I'm not about to open this and then open another thing and all that shit. I'm not going to do all that. But anyway, she came in from like up here, I guess. Yeah, up here. Yeah, she would have came in from this way. That camera, if you look close enough, I don't know if it'll show it on here. You can actually see the camera where it was positioned right here. That's where the camera was, right here. That's the camera. The sprinkler that's right in front of it. So, since this camera has a 47-degree viewing angle, what that means is you would need to calculate, or I don't know if any of you guys are good at geometry, perhaps algebra, maybe a little bit, but geometry more so. The viewing angle of the lens would be perpendicular to the length of the camera, meaning, you know, you're probably like, what the fuck is you talking about? Hold up, I'm gonna tell you. Do I have this? No, I'll download right now, so I have to write on here and tell you what the hell I'm talking about. What I'm saying is, once you have this map, and you can see where this item is on the map. Let's go right here. It should be easy. All right, so we're in Paint. I ain't used Paint in so long. That's where the camera is, right there. That's where it was. So if the camera is we got the camera, let's see, it's right, like right here. Whoops, my bad. You got the camera that's going like right here. That's not quite straight, but yeah, I already know what it is, man. All right, so whatever. You got the camera to go right there, and I'll make this thinner. The angle of the viewing angle is going to run perpendicular, or maybe I should do a triangle. That would be best. From the center of the camera, that's where the lens is. 47 degrees, of course, you're going to need a protractor. But you can actually, and this is not, actually would be inverted. It wouldn't even be this way, but you kind of get the point of what I'm talking about. You have to know what you're talking about, like with math. The whole purpose of doing this is so that you can get a general idea based on where they've shown us that the camera is. You can actually, from the camera itself, as long as you have the right angle, you can draw the little window. Once you have that, you know, the angle identified, the 47 degrees, and that's from the, I hate to have to explain all this shit because I know y'all don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Once you have the angle, and it would look something like that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna keep that too, so I can play with it and show you what I'm talking about. Let's assume this was the right measurements. Okay, 47 degrees. We're gonna assume that's what this is. Where's the fill? Solid color. Whatever. But anyway. Well, whatever. I'm talking about this triangle right here. So I didn't fuck it all up, but Anyway, this is a triangle. This would represent the angle of, assuming it was 47 degrees, it'd be the angle that the camera could view at. So, you know, by rotating this with this point obviously on the lens, you can actually envision, you can actually see what all would have been or should have been captured by the camera based on the specifications of the camera. I don't know how accurate this all is, but I'm inclined to think that once you do this, you're not going to be able to position this angle to where you can capture what we all saw, which was, I don't know how far down. I think it was pretty much straight down this wall. You're not going to be able to capture all of this and still get near what we did see, because I think they've skewed the angle. They've skewed the angle and or just manipulated that whole freezer area. What I'm saying is, the way the camera is positioned with that angle, if it's correct, you should easily capture the door to the freezer based on the position that they've shown us. Easily. A 47-degree angle from that position should very easily capture the door to that freezer. And common sense would tell you, if they're going to put a camera there, then naturally you probably do want it to, if nothing else, capture the camera or the door to that freezer. But who knows? Maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't for some reason. But I'm trying to tell you that if somebody was willing to take on this project, because believe me, I'm not, you know, just a 47-degree arc. Go look at the camera's model IP7135. Go look at the model camera. Look up the specs. It'll tell you what the viewing angle is, or they call it field of vision. And it's 47 degrees. It's a fixed camera, meaning it's not a varifocal camera. You can't adjust the lens. So it's fixed, and that's the angle that it captures. So you have a 47-degree arc, and you have that angle. And if you manipulate this to where it just swings back and forth, although it, you know, when it actually captures video, it can't do that. But just to give you an idea of what all it could have captured in the event that you are off where you're, you know, positioning this angle at, and base that on what we do see, and you'll just see the manipulation is there. Either we should have had the front door of that freezer and we don't, or what we're seeing back there has been manipulated in some way. I'll go into that some other time. That is my belief, that what we're seeing back there is kind of manipulated. It's not that we didn't capture the right angle, because we did. I think the angle is correct. It's just what we see in the back by the cooler is not. That's just my belief. Just based on like some little tests and little bullshit like this that can be productive if you do it right. And I'm not about to get into all that. What I am going to do is plug up this IP camera, because that's my focus now. I want to show y'all what I'm talking about that time. I'm about to get off of here. Give me like maybe 20 minutes or something. I'm just going to plug this camera up, and I'm going to go to that part so I can show you where you can change the times even after the video's already been recorded. So the whole timestamp, camera clock, all that shit don't even really matter. Once you go to make a copy for someone, once they come and request their copy, then that's when you can decide what times need to go where. You know, as you export those files, you can, you know, fuck it, I'm gonna change the time up here real quick. You know, you can put whatever date. Of course, when you change the time, you can change the date too. You can do whatever the hell you want to do, basically, with those Vivotech cameras. And I'm gonna plug that up, and I'm gonna show you guys. Put that out there so that you know. And with that being said, I'm gonna be done with these cameras, because that's all my objective was. I was trying to find out what's up with the time. Is the time right or not? You know, is the left, the right, either one? Can anything be trusted? Answer, we all knew in the beginning. Fuck no. We already knew that in the beginning. So I'm not racking my brain over it no more. I'm gonna show y'all that, and then them cameras is out of here. I mean, they still be in the community, but they're not going to be here. Let me go back so I can get out of here, man. I'm not going to go through all this. I know I kind of just be like, you know, running off, lipping off, telling y'all different little bits of information, but that's the objective, right? I don't need no presentation and no format. I mean, hey, I sure appreciate it when I'm the one watching. because then I don't have to go through all this bullshit. But if you get a live from me, I'm not having no presentation. I'm just not. You know, I try my best to fuck with some shit. The computer don't cooperate, or I don't know what I'm doing, one of the two, and it don't go right. But you can expect that from me because I'm just dropping, you know, some shit that I saw that I think is pertinent. Maybe it's valuable. Maybe you can use it. Maybe it give you some insight. Maybe it don't. Maybe it drive you crazy. I don't know. But either way, I'm gonna give it to you, and it is what it is. You know, if not, then you know, whatever. Nobody holding you hostage here. So with that being said, man, let me shut this shit off, and I'm about to go in there and grab me something to drink. I think I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette too, and then I'll probably get back on right after that. Just to show you that camera, and I'm out of here. Let me go back and close this shit. So listen, let me look at the chat. Y'all might have had a question. I'm rude as hell. Hold up. No, I don't want to say that. All right, let me see if y'all have some questions, man. It might be something y'all want me to check out before I turn this off, because I was about to get out of here. My bad, man. I know I just be like, you know, I just be putting shit out there. Sometimes I wish people do that to me. You know, I'm gonna tell you something, and usually fuck my opinion. But I'm gonna tell you something. Just tell me whatever it is you're trying to show me, however you gotta explain it, and let me do what I want to do with it. I don't need to hear, you know what I'm saying? No offense, John. John know he my partner. But John, man, them lives be full of shit, man. I ain't got the time. I'm just not. 3 hours. When I see 3 hours on the video, I'm not fucking with it. I'm just not. You know, I might click, and I know the first 10 minutes gonna be greetings. So I mean, I just be like click, 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 like, you know what I'm saying, trying to catch, and I know I'm missing all kind of weird shit. So I mean, it just, you know, I just yeah, whatever. Or I put it on what you call it, the two times speed. I put it on there, and I can listen to that for a minute or two just to see if I'm in the right general area or what the hell I'm trying to find. You know, I'll check it out. But yeah, 3 hours, no, 3 hours ain't no way. I'm just not. I'm sure y'all had a good time though. Let me see. Let me run through these real quick. I mean, this is the end of the live, so if y'all got other shit to do, I'd advise you get off. I'm just gonna look, see if any questions real quick, and I'm out of here. Beyond me, I didn't even know you was here. Nubian Queen, man, I be tripping. These all like family, y'all. These all like real people. In case anybody don't know, these like some real, you know what I'm saying, people that's with the program. You know what I'm saying? These all like some real solid people. And that's cool too, because I really can't say I see some haters in the chat. I really can't say that. They may have been here, but I don't know. All the ones here now, I know is good. At least the ones I see. Hell of a chick, yeah, Malika, Nubian Queen, Jack. Yeah, these are all solid people. Beyond me. Let me see if I see a hate. I'm gonna call him out too. No, okay, yeah. See, I guess maybe they figure, okay, he ain't for no dumb shit. Because I'm not even gonna pay attention to you. I'm not even gonna be looking at the chat like, okay, get him out of here, man. I don't give a fuck about none of that. You do what the hell you want to do. So everybody here solid. That's good. Which is the whole objective. I don't care who's listening to it. People who with it, take what you want from it. If you're not, then hell, I don't care what you do with it. So with that being said, I'm out of here. I'm about to go get me a drink, and I'm gonna put that other video up here in a second. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. All right, I'm going. Y'all stay up. I'll be back in a hot second. Let me shut this shit off.